Hi, everybody. Brian Andrews reporting from Bogota. Have you seen the news from Colombia today? Our top stories today: the nation celebrates freedom for former Congressman Oscar Tulio Lizcano, who was rescued after escaping from a FARC camp with one of his captors this weekend. The congressman was a hostage for nearly 9 years and says he kept his sanity by talking to sticks and weeds since he wasn't allowed to speak to the guerrillas holding him. That FARC captor who escaped with the congressman, who goes by the name of Isaza, is being given asylum in France for his heroic decision to leave the guerrilla life and help Lizcano escape. He'll also be getting medical attention for his sight after losing one of his eyes in combat 5 years ago. More FARC guerrillas are giving up the fight. A 25-year-old woman left the FARC's ranks because she says she was tired of all the problems of living life on the run. She said she was forced to join the movement when she was only 16 years old and that the guerrillas would not let her go. Police have captured a group of men they say are responsible for killing the uncle of Colombian golfing great Camilo Villegas. They say the robbery and murder was planned by one of Ernesto Villegas Zulaga's employees. With the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights visiting Colombia this week, President Uribe has sent a message to all police and armed forces calling on them to be more respectful of human rights and dignity during operations and arrests. And Colombia's education secretary says 46 mil millones de pesos are being made available to help give scholarships to students from poor Colombian families to attend some of Colombia's best schools. And the news continues now with a conversation with U.S. Ambassador to Colombia, William Brownsfield, and there is a lot to talk about, including the recent hostage rescue, the economy, the upcoming U.S. presidential election, with a lot of Colombians are paying very close attention to. If it's going to be Obama, they're saying, well, wait a minute, he doesn't like trade. If it's McCain, they're saying, well, he's very pro-Colombia.
Well, Brian, you'll not be surprised to learn I'm paying a little bit of attention to this upcoming election as well, and I'm looking forward to learning the results sometime on the night of Tuesday, the 4th of November. Look, my only comment to you would be we should be careful about reaching any overarching conclusions on either of the two presidential candidates right now. At the end of the day, whether it is a President-elect McCain or a President-elect Obama, alphabetical order, the next president is going to pursue what he sees as the national interest of the United States of America. And all I can say is that for the last 9 years, we have seen the national interest of the United States of America closely linked to the national interest of Colombia as well. I'm pretty optimistic.
Now, this whole TLC, if you ask somebody in Kansas City, Missouri, hey, what's the TLC, they think of a rock group in the United States. But here, it's a trade pact, and it's really important. It's been stalled out. Why is this so important for Colombia?
First, I'll have you know my stepmother comes from Kansas City, and she would say TLC probably means tender, loving care. But hey, that's between her and me, I suppose. Listen, at the end of the day, the TLC, or in English, the FTA, it represents both the economic, the commercial, the investment, the financial, the working and labor, the employment interest of both Colombia and the United States of America. At the end of the day, what this agreement would do would be to allow both countries to do more investment and more commerce and trade between Colombia and the United States.
But help me break it down. Help me break it down. If I'm a little business owner in Bogota, how is it going to help me if it passes?
Well, obviously it depends on what your business is. Let's assume your business has something to do with exports. In other words, either you make, as in a factory, or you sell as a merchant a product that is made here in Colombia. With the FTA, what you will be able to do is sell that product in the United States at a lower price than you otherwise would have to, because you will not have to pay tariffs, you will not have to pay customs duty on what you are selling to the United States. You can therefore sell more. If you can sell more, you can build more, or you can manufacture more. By doing that, you create more employment here in Colombia. That's a good thing. Now let's shift to the United States. You're selling more, you're trading more, you're exporting more to the United States. By so doing, you're creating more economic activity there as well. In the ports or the airports, in the stores, in terms of transportation. And the additional economic activity translates into more jobs, more employment at both ends of the string. both in Colombia and in the United States. It's the classic win-win situation.
And economy is the big word right now, because I'm from Miami, and everybody I talk to back home says everything's in the toilet. The Colombian economy seems to be rising a little bit. You were quoted as saying with the world financial crisis a few weeks ago that perhaps the money our government gives this country could be cut back. And from what I understand now, that was an incorrect quote.
Yeah. Brian, what I was trying to say, and obviously failed miserably in my attempt.
Maybe they didn't speak English.
When asked about the impact of the economy on the future of United States support for Colombia, and specifically through this process that we have come to call Plan Colombia, what I said, which was absolutely honest, was my job as the U.S. ambassador to explain to the United States Congress why it is that they should continue to support Plan Colombia is now more complicated. It is more complicated because the United States Congress has just approved a $700 billion bailout package for the banking industry. It is more complicated because 5 months ago the United States Congress passed a $160 billion economic stimulus package. It is more complicated because now the United States Congress is considering another economic stimulus package. In other words, for me, for anyone in the United States government, it is now more difficult to make the case for funding and funding support. That said, do I think I can make it? Of course I do. The same logic, the same national interest that led us in 1999-2000 to originally support Plan Colombia still apply. It is still in our interest to reduce and eventually eliminate illicit drug trafficking. It is still in our interest to resist terrorism, to produce more security, to eliminate violence, to do more economic trade and investment, to ensure greater respect for human rights, to provide more humanitarian assistance. It made sense in 1999. It makes sense in 2008. It will make sense in 2009. I'm still optimistic. All that I'm saying is it will be more complicated for me now to make the case.
And that's just because the money that used to be there isn't always there, or will be harder to get.
The second way is the better way of putting it.
Right.
All of us, every U.S. ambassador, every cabinet level head, every senior member of this or the next United States government is going to have a more difficult time making their case with the United States Congress on funding. But I was optimistic yesterday, I'm optimistic today, and I predict I will be optimistic tomorrow.